This is an extremely advanced cataract in an elderly gentleman. It is actually a hypermature cataract with a black nuclear sclerosis, and I'm initially putting both side port incisions. I will go ahead. I still have an option whether to convert to SICS. I will initiate with Phaco if all my initial steps go well, and then decide whether to continue or bail out as SICS. So I have stained the capsule. I am now washing off the stain with BSS. I aspirate off the air bubble. Again further wash the stain, and now I am putting in some 2% HPMC through the side port. I normally make my main incision first. In this case I am not. So it all depends on if I get a large rhexis and if the hydrodissection is adequate. If there is no zonular laxicity, then I will continue with Phaco. If not, I may immediately abandon and go ahead and do an SICS. So here I am trying to make a large rhexis. There is a pterygium also, which I have chosen to ignore, but which will give me problems, as you will see subsequently. So that's a large rhexis. That's an adequate rhexis. So, and now I decide, okay, I've got enough of a very good rhexis. There is no zonular laxicity. I'm sure I can do the hydrodissection. I put my main incision, main 2.8 millimeter incision, decompress and hydrodissect very carefully. Decompress, pressurize the chamber, put in some BSS. There's no need to hydrodissect anymore, and that's it. It's a beautiful separation. There's good nuclear rotation, which I am doing manually. Kicked up some cortex as well, and then go ahead, decompress and replace the 2% HPMC with sodium hyaluronate. Taking a very long sharp chopper, as you can see in my left hand. This is going to be a very hard cataract. I am at 90% Phaco power. I am at 400 millimeters of vacuum, 40 ml flow rate, and I plan to do the direct chops. I have to be very careful. Look at the pupil. You have to be careful. You don't allow the pupil to shut down. So I am doing the woodcutter's method. I impale, and I have to make sure that the Phaco probe goes into the depth of the nucleus. It's still a little superficial, I feel, but however, I've got a very good chop. But there are fibers attached posteriorly, which is to be expected. You don't have to be surprised about it. Yes, the iris is a little bit floppy. It's already coming out through one of the side ports. Doesn't matter. Now my second chop should be even better, going really deep and trying to, you got to see the PC. You can see part. I again engage that and do a multi-level chop, and you can see that red reflects beautifully through that. So once I get that, that is my end point actually. So I have to do at least 3 to 4 segments in each heminuclei. I cannot do less than that. This is not a 4-quadrant nucleus. So you can see how I am pushing my chopper below and trying to do a multi-level chop. So this is all in the first heminuclei. I'm getting at least 3. You can see. So again engage that bit and try to separate. There you get the separation beautifully. You can see that posterior turn also. And now coming to the other heminuclei, I'm going to repeat the same. I do all this in one step. I do not keep coming out of the anterior chamber. The worst thing that you can get in this these cases is pupillary shutdown. So going, I have done one. I'm going to do, hopefully I can get my 3 segments on this. There is a central disc that I can see which has to be removed. Then I will know what exactly is happening in the center. I'm still trying to separate. It is separated well. Now targeting that disc. Look at that disc. Once you get this disc out, you can see that spine. So I come out now. There is no need for the sharp chopper anymore. Putting in some HPMC. Meanwhile, look at that pterygium. It has bloated up with the BSS. It's completely engorged. So I have to decompress this. Otherwise, all the fluid is collecting within the palpebral fissure, and it's obstructing my view. It's making it more difficult. So I got to decompress this. Just go in with the side port and take a dialer and squeeze out all the fluid. It's a very effective method to do. So once you have done that, I then once again go take out some of the high visc, HPMC, and put in some of this sodium hyaluronate. This has to be done multiple number of times because you really need to protect the cornea. Now I know one heminucleus is sort of separated, the other is not. So this is how I will go about it. Although there are 6 pieces, these are pretty large pieces. So I would have been better off with 8. So I have engaged one. I'm in continuous mode only at 90% Phaco power. So I have brought out that piece. It's just at the iris plane, as you can see. Don't bring it into the chamber. This is very high power. Keep your Phaco tip always facing downwards, and floor your pedal only when you are well into the nuclear matter. Don't Phaco in the chamber, that is without a nuclear piece, So once you have done one heminuclei, now it's time to handle the other one. So again, go in, putting in some sodium hyaluronate. This dilates the pupil as well. There's some viscodilation which helps me. Now I'm taking 2 Sinskey hooks. I'm going to rotate this to an accessible area, my Phaco tip. Mind you, this entire thing is unedited. I purposely left the whole thing unedited. There may be a few bits, idle areas which have been edited out in the beginning, but rest everything is unedited. See, now I am going under that central attachment and hooking it up. Do this carefully. With the Sinskey hook you will be quite safe. So now my target is that attachment. So once again, it's all under sodium hyaluronate, and I go and look. Once you get that, the pieces will separate. Try not to allow these pieces to go around in the anterior chamber hitting the endothelium. Some will, it's inevitable, but try your best to get all of them out. And that's it, it's done. Whatever few bits and pieces, try to push it and get it into your Phaco tip. Now watch the capsule. The capsule is just trampolining, and moreover, it's not seen in the video, but that capsule is actually like a posterior lenticonus. It looks like that the whole thing has got a dimple behind. So I do not want to do a vacuum polish of that. I think it's better. I'm just trying to mechanically get out some of those bits and pieces, but I am not going to engage that capsule. It will tear. There's no doubt about it. So just leave it alone. try to get it out mechanically if you can by just rubbing against it. See, I'm keeping the port away, and whatever comes I aspirate, the rest I will leave it to my YAG laser. Once that is done, put in some HPMC. I am even trying to use the visco itself to separate it out. There is some, it's not going to affect his vision in the immediate post-op period, so you don't have to worry about anything. Then I'm going to inject my single piece hydrophilic IOL within the bag. Careful, do not engage it in that posterior part of the bag, but see that the IOL goes well into the bag. Now, the only problem will be to get out the HPMC from behind, because you do have a pocket there to do that carefully. So I am just taking out all the HPMC with my bimanual. And then very, very gingerly go behind. I still haven't gone behind to do it once again. And that's it. Once that's done, there's a little bit of cortex there, you might as well take it out. And I do the final ritual of putting in my intracameral antibiotic and hydrating the wounds and concluding my surgery. Thank you so much for watching.